Welcome to Conversations with Klana, made for the modern woman who wants to raise her self-esteem, increase her satisfaction, and build happy and loving relationships with herself and others. More and more, women feel they have lost their spark and the connection to themselves, and miss deep intimacy in their lives. Rather than accept a life that doesn't shine, they want to change to one that does. Join the conversation each week when Klana and her guests explore practical ways and positive solutions to living a new, authentic life based on self-love, connection, harmony, and joy. Now, here is your host, transformation catalyst, author, and speaker, Klana.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to a new episode, Conversations with Klana. Today, I have the lovely Olja here. And could you please help me with your last name?
Aleksic.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So, first of all, I want to tell the people who you are very briefly, and then we will come back to you. And I hope you know that I am Klana, pleasure alchemist. And helping you if you want to, and if you are open to change, to reconnect with your body and with your life and have a wonderful and amazing and harmonious. And Olja does something similar, just in a completely different area. Okay. Olja is a leadership mentor, a change management expert, and an author. Her personal breakthrough experience led her from leadership roles in the corporate world to embracing leadership as a lifestyle. That's interesting. Olja founded Sapfo Groove Initiative in 2019 with a mission to gather under one roof leadership experts from around the world that are willing to change the old leadership paradigm and shatter the status quo. Olja's path crossed with another leadership mentor's path, René Murata. We both know her because we have been working on the same book here, which I just want to make a little bit of advertisement. So the two of you teamed up and founded Quantum Leadership Institute this year, through which you teach women about this new model of leadership, so different from the old patriarchal modality and so needed in current times. Exactly, this is needed. Wow, welcome again, Olja. I'm curious and excited about our talk. We talked already because I was invited on your show. And if you're curious about that, you can see it on my website, klana.us. And of course, somewhere at Olja's places too, which I will link into the show notes later. Olja.
Thank you, Klana.
Tell us a little bit about you and your story.
Well, first of all, I just have to mention how I enjoyed that talk of ours because it was on my birthday this year. And that's actually the moment when a lot of things opened up for me. And as you mentioned, with René, I created Quantum Leadership Institute. And I have to say, like, straight away, that what the three of us have really in common is that path towards self-acceptance and self-love. And that's actually, you know, what for the three of us is in common. And we all worked our, you know, way and work in different maybe industries, but the common theme is this one. And I believe for your listeners as well, that this might be an interesting insight. How do we use actually this self-acceptance and self-love and drive that energetically from there toward leadership and creating an authority figure and working in, of course, this is not the story about women only, it's for men as well, because we work in, you know, all areas and with different teams. So I hope that your listeners will be curious and that will hear something that will be useful for them.
Okay, so first of all, how do you define leadership?
Well, yeah, good question. Thank you. Now I do define it as a lifestyle. Why? I was working in corporate world and it was really about the job. It was about the position, which is different than what I see it right now, how I see it right now. It was about, stepping into certain shoes, showing up powerfully and, maybe even a little bit of dominant, figure, etc. And managing people. So there was like, you put a mask or you wear a certain suit and then you are a leader. So how it's different now for me, it's because I discovered that there is a gap in between our inner self, our divine self, if you like, and what we show to others or what we are conditioned to be or what we think we should be, how we should act and show up at our jobs or in every day. And then there is that gap, between our inner self and that image. And when you bridge that gap, then you are in alignment. And from that place of alignment, leadership is totally different. I wanted to say a little bit different, but it's not. It's actually totally different. So why is it a lifestyle? Because once you understand, leadership is all about taking responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
Best leaders of the world, they take 100% of responsibility. It doesn't matter, pandemic is not their fault, but they know that response, the way they respond, is their responsibility, and they see themselves as role models, as driving force, and etc. So the same is here when you accept that not only when you go to your office, when you work with your clients, when you are on a team meeting, it's not the only moment when you take responsibility, but when you go back to your home, when you go back to your partner or your friends and family, and just living from that place of integrity with no that gap in between. And that's the completely different energy, actually, when you show up. And recently I started using example with my dogs. I have 2 dogs. I don't have kids, but I see that when I'm in an environment with children, it's similar. So they maybe understand words, dogs, they know sit, stand, etc., but they don't respond to that. It's not even the tone of your voice. It's not even how the posture, but it's the energy.
Energy, exactly.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
And that was completely different. I believe maybe you will agree on this, that we are like collectively on this path of evolution, and that the next step is this energy, understanding actually, and accepting what does this really mean for us practically, in everyday life. And we hear every day, we are energy, everything is energy, this camera is energy, this table is energy, but we don't really understand what does this mean for us, when we go to a grocery shop and somebody is rude, or, when we show up on a meeting and somebody is challenging our idea, etc. We don't really understand that. But I believe that we are collectively now at this level, and the same as companies, corporations, small businesses, we as entrepreneurs and business owners, that we are here now to lead that change. So I hope that you agree with that, that we are now in that part of evolution.
Yes, I completely agree with you. And of course, this is also something that I'm teaching my clients, how to manage their energies and how to see the influence of other people's energies on their whole system. And that is different from person to person because everybody is different. So for instance, I pick up a lot of energy of other people. Yeah, so I really need to be careful. So this week I was out. I'm more living like a hermit, but I was out. It was more like a little fair. And when I came back, I was so tired. I said, "Oh my God, I couldn't do anything but laying down and taking a nap." And I think this is what I learned over the years, to listen to my body. And that's exactly what I did. I laid down and slept for an hour somehow. Then I woke up a little bit, but I didn't really wake up. Sometimes that's enough. And I come back and I'm full in energy. And so this time it took a little bit longer. So all of this can happen to you. And what I want you to do is to listen more what your body is going to tell you and go for that.
Yes.
Of course, it might not be so easy if you are in a job with I'm my own boss. I'm with my own time. But even there, I tell people, you can go to the toilet for 5 minutes, close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, or whatever it takes. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Thank you. That's perfect example actually. And I needed some time, quite some time, to really stop feeling the guilt and even the shame. So here's the thing. I discovered eventually that I simply by my human design have a different kind of working energy than others. So for listeners who are maybe familiar, I am projector, and you know most of the people are generators, so it doesn't matter, it's not the topic, but generators in example have a lot of working energy. They can work day. Oh, that's why when I am in your presence, I am more, you know, I have more of that drive.
Mm-hmm.
But when I'm on my own, I work in how to say in time blocks. So you know, I have time block when I'm like full of energy, bursting all over the place. It's channeling in the flow, and that's usually when I work with clients, you know. And then I need a lot of time to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
And working from 9 to 5, which is actually from 7 to 7, to be honest, and managing the team in a, you know, a fast-paced environment, and watching all generators having a lot of that, you know, working energy, I felt a lot of guilt. And from that guilt, you slip into maybe I'm not good enough. So the famous sentence that I didn't even know what really mean. And that's it, how I felt a lot, you know, even today when I see, I build my business online. And when I see people like really being fully present 24/7 online, and I just operate differently.
Yeah.
But talking about self-acceptance, but honoring my needs.
And that's exactly it.
That's what you said as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we really learn to know ourselves well. And of course, that is a process because we are so much programmed from everything around us that we sometimes don't even know who we are, who we really are. Are we that programmed person or are we something different?
Yes.
Yeah. And that's this discernment. Sometimes your ego comes into place and tells you all that programmed stuff. And then you need to discern which is the real me and which is the ego that wants to keep me in place.
Exactly. You described it perfectly. And the ego, I'm having a little coffee chats. I like coffee, so my ego as well. So we go for a coffee because my ego is so strong and, opinionated and loud. So I realized that's not a bad thing. We fight the ego, we resist, but we have it, and for reason, so it's better to be a friend with your ego and honor also what ego is showing. So sometimes I just really need to sip that coffee and say, okay, I'm hearing you. Yes, I'm out of my comfort zone, way out. This is completely different than anything we learned over the time, especially when I started working on my own and having, for example, my Mondays, I'm taking Mondays off. So even that was a conversation with my ego, So yes, I know it's Monday. So, just I hear you. It's all right. We are safe. Nobody is going to fire me because I'm not at work. I'm not going to have income decrease. So we are safe. It's okay. So yes, when I started having those conversations, I felt a little bit like, is this for real? Am I like crazy? Am I imagining this? Or, there was a little bit of that also, but it's just a new way of operating. It's a new paradigm. So we are redefining not only that habits and that conversation, that words do we use, but our thoughts as well. And now that's completely normal for me. And I talk about it with you.
Yeah.
So this is my new normal and new standard. And it's a completely new thing for me to feel good about myself. Talking about honoring, it took me a while to understand that I am meant to be healthy, that my physical body should be healthy, that's the natural state. So just to, a little bit of my story, I spent all my life, so basically since I can remember, in some kind of discomfort. So was it a pain in my stomach, in my ovaries? Was it a headache? Was it, skin rash, heart racing, or a lungs asthma, issues? But it was just, always like a loop, and that was for me real struggle.
I can imagine.
Yes, and I thought that I thought that life is struggle. And of course, now I can see the victimhood and everything, but how I felt back then is, okay, life is struggle for everybody, maybe not for some certain minority, God-given or something, but, and I saw myself as a justice fighter, freedom fighter. I was always in that, angry rebellion state, like, I'm going to fix this. I was always in that, I'm going to fix this, and all that drama and all those intense emotions uh, caught me at some moment. And all those diseases became a real, so to say, problem, illness. So I ended up with a rare type of cancer. And the whole story is behind that. But what I want to say, that was the moment when I asked myself, wait, how did I come to this point? And I knew, I took the ownership, the responsibility. How did I ended up here? So now it wasn't what's happening, what happened to me. It wasn't another, let's fight for the justice. It was, wait, I'm 30 years old. I'm living for 20 and something years in some form or shape of pain. I am successful in terms of career, having my relationship, etc. And I still have this, So how did I ended up here? And that's how I actually discovered the whole energy mastery story and path. That's how I actually, from all that chaos, that's what I wanted to say. There is that moment of chaos, complete confusion, all frustration and anger, all other intense emotions were building up inside of me. And you can go only two ways from there, your life will end up basically, or you will reinvent yourself. So it wasn't really important about how did I ended up here, conditioning, my country, my lifestyle, poverty, wars, etc. At that moment, it wasn't about that. It was what can I do? And then I stumbled somehow, that's how always best things happen, on quantum medicine. I discovered healing, energetic healing. I started learning about it. I started understanding for the first time what this really means. If my external world is a reflection of my inner world,
Yeah.
what can I do? What's my next step then? And I would like, so for your listeners, just to take a moment and pause. And no matter how many times we all hear this, I remind myself every day about this. It really is everything that is happening. When you enter the room and you have 5 people on your meeting and all 5 are resisting to your decision or challenging your idea, that also is a reflection of you. So it doesn't have to be, this dramatic thing that I describe, that you find yourself, completely, broken and ill, etc. It doesn't have to be that. It can be simply this situation. When we really understand this, when we have this knowledge, that's how we take ownership. That's how we move forward, discover new things, discover people like you, platforms like, Sapfo Groove Initiative that I built, or Quantum Leadership Institute that I co-funded. But behind all that is really this, the moment when you understand there is something more than what we are told that there is, then, we all have reason why we talk about these topics. You have your story, I have mine, and it's great to be here sharing actually about this. So I carried myself away a little bit.
Thank you for sharing. That's very interesting. Emphasizes what I learned too over the years. I was there in victim mode and thought everything from the outside is done onto me, until I understood that it's just the other way around. And I think this is exactly why we are doing what we are doing now, because everyone, or almost everyone, is conditioned like that. So there are still so many people out there with this kind of thinking. So showing them that if they find back to themselves, because we've all been there when we were born into this world, we were perfect. We are still perfect, by the way, but everything we got there. And then through our socialization, our upbringing, some disturbing things happen. So
Yeah.
we just need to find back,
Yes.
which for us is not normal at the moment. Yeah.
Yes, I agree completely. And you know, the key word here really is, you know, coming back to ourselves. And there is that thing about the self-acceptance, just to go back once more to that. It's about not judging even the
Yeah.
journey, because, okay, we experience all this and we still we are in our physical body in third dimension with a reason. We had this evolution of consciousness and we are here now. So, okay, 20, 30, 50 years ago, we were collectively maybe somewhere different, but we all have this innate wisdom inside of us. So as you say, it's coming back to that, allowing ourselves to come back to that. And for all of us, like you and me and other, maybe some of them will listen to this, speak your truth. Speak about this, your experience. I know for myself that spirituality and corporate world are not really, you know, like going hand on hand. And
Not
maybe
yet.
not yet, yeah, not yet. Back then, that's how I saw it. That's when I was not allowing myself. So if I accepted that part of me, and the listening, you mentioned also the listening, I didn't listen, nor my body, you know, all the diseases and everything, nor my, you know, true wisdom and desire and, you know, some impulses of my soul that were telling me where to go. I didn't listen that. I didn't honor that part. If I did, so I'm not regretting, I'm just, you know, sharing how it's the journey. If I did, maybe back then, while I was still in that world, I would be more open to talk about it, to share about it, and to show my team and others. Now I do it from this perspective, and I am also showing them and teaching them and sharing everything. So there is always a way, and it never is late. You know, we don't even know what impact we have, even when we don't have that intention to, you know, change somebody's life, but we do. We are connected. Everybody are. You're me, I'm you. And first time when I heard this, I was like,
Oops. What's that? Exactly.
sorry, say that again. like, please. I mean, I gotta pay my bill, you know. But there is a way that we all understand and to implement this into our, you know, daily practice. So what René and I are teaching now, so there are 3 levels when it comes to leadership. I want to emphasize here the first level, which is about self-mastery. And this is different from other leadership courses and programs because of what you and I are talking about now. Because that energetic aspect, understanding and knowing, and because the two of us, we are not looking away from the traumas. We talk about this inside the Institute with women we are welcoming. We talk about everything we are ashamed of, what we blame ourselves. Um, so many taboo topics, we open them because it's you can learn what words to use on a meeting so that you influence your stakeholders. But energy, that's what we said. The energy behind it, if you still have that little inner girl that is hurt and in pain and traumatized inside, you know, that's where we start from. from the healing part. And it's so important in every, it's so important for creating relationship, for creating, family, businesses. We just focus on leadership, but it's important in every aspect and area of life. Yeah.
So, Olja, before we close, I would love to know a little bit about the Sapfo Groove Initiative. What does that mean? Is there an explanation for the word, and what is behind it?
Yeah, behind that is, as you said in an introduction, is an mission that we as leaders, like-minded leaders in our respective industries, and to bring under one roof that knowledge that can really, so it's like a platform, that we create different courses, books, webinars, seminars, so, and that we share that knowledge with the world. Yeah. And the word itself, so I studied Greek, and in high school I was all about Greek mythology and all that stuff. So Sappho is an ancient Greek poet. She was the first to build an academy for women. She was pretty, rebel, revolutionary type of a girl. And yeah, she was very, very famous for that. She was, shattering those status quo and opening taboo topics. So that's why her name is there. And the groove is groove. That's what I figured after my corporate experience, that in leadership, as in life, we are all in a movement, in a rhythm. We have rhythm, we talk, in which we talk, we walk, we show up in a certain rhythm, and that's the groove that we bring, and the groove, the way we groove the world. That's how I say it. And that's, my group is also leadership groove, so there is that groove, and also music and dance is important aspect of my life and what I bring into the room when I, talk and show up. So that's that.
Wow, cool. So, and if people are curious to contact you, I will put a few links in the show notes so that they can do that. Olja, thank you so much. It was a very interesting conversation. And good luck with everything you are doing. Hope talking to you soon. And you, dear listener, if you like that format here, please subscribe and listen to the next one. We are usually coming up every Saturday with a new episode. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Conversations with Klana. Remember to follow us on social media and get connected. Visit our website, conversationswithklana.com, for show notes and additional episodes. And if you like this broadcast, please share it with your friends to help us empower more women to live an authentic and happy life and make this world a better place for everyone.